Welcome back, everybody, to the Search Show 24/7, and this is Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight movie review. So let's get right into it.
No one said this job's supposed to be easy.
Nobody said it's supposed to be that hard, neither.
Guys, The Hateful Eight is Quentin Tarantino's eighth film because I think he counts Kill Bill as just one whole movie. So let's just get right into it. First off, right off the bat, my voice might crack. I kind of lost my voice at work, so it might crack throughout this video. So feel free to just make fun of me. But with that being said, let's get right into this review. I love this movie. I end up seeing this at a I saw the 70mm version, the roadshow version, the long version, 3-hour version, and it's just a fantastic movie to watch and to just to be a part of. I'm a big fan of just movies in general, and like being at the theater, being in the cinemas, and just experiencing movies the way they were meant to be seen. So I got to see this the way it was meant to be seen, on a glorious projection screen, on a very big projection screen. So I had a really good time seeing this. It's one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies. My favorite Quentin Tarantino movies are Kill Bill 1 and 2. I count them as one whole one, but that's just one of my favorite movies in general. It's in my top 3 probably favorite movies of all time. Kill Bill 1 and 2. So I'm just a big fan of Quentin's work and of his dialogue. He's a very dialogue heavy, driven type of director, and I just like the way he shoots, the way he understands characters, and the way he represents his characters are just very fascinating. They're very funny, but you can relate to them and you can hate them at the same time and love them. So yeah, I think this movie really, puts a stamp on why he's just a great director. If you haven't watched any of his movies, and that's going to be a cool thing to see if anyone hasn't actually seen any of his movies and going into this as one of their first movies. I'm really interested to see what they think about this movie, because he is a certain kind of director that you have to kind of know what he's about, know what kind of things he does. So I'm very interested to talk to somebody this is their first Quentin Tarantino movie that they ever seen. So yeah, that'd be really cool. But now this movie is it's just an old school kind of spaghetti western type. You have Kurt Russell, his character, he is trying to bring this lady to go hang. He's a bounty hunter. He captured this lady. She's supposed to hang. It's called the Hangman. And on his way to get to his destination to hang her, he encounters a lot of random people and a lot of interesting characters. One being kind of the main character, Samuel L. Jackson's character, who's probably the star of this movie outside of Quentin Tarantino as the director. He's probably the biggest star in this movie, and just the coolest character to me in this movie. So he meets all these characters. It's a big blizzard, so they end up have to staying in this shed or this cabin for a few days, and during that time he's trying to figure out who's plotting against who's working with the girl to release her from his custodies and stuff like that, and just craziness ensues, and that's kind of your main plot. And it's more of a, everybody's kind of been saying this in their reviews, so I guess I have to say it. It's more of kind of a clue kind of game, who done it, who shot who, and this, that, and the third, who poisoned this character. But this movie really relies on just dialogue and being very good dialogue, because you go throughout this movie, the first half of this movie is just a dialogue heavy movie, where you don't get that Quentin Tarantino action and killing and stuff until the second part of this movie, and I was okay with that. It's a 3-hour movie. I think it's 3 hours and 7 minutes long, and it didn't feel that way to me. It went by really fast. It started off really nice with the overture, then you get the intermission. At the halfway point, you get to take a break, pee, kind of talk about it with the other people who are watching, and that was kind of the cool thing about watching this movie. Like, you get the overture, you get the movie, you get the intermission in the halfway point, and then just kind of, you know, walking around and talking to people about it while they're getting the popcorn and we're taking pee breaks or whatever. You can just walk around the theater, just, you know, say how you like it so far, who you think this person is, or who do you think is the killer, or, you know, stuff like that. It was really, really fascinating. It was just a really cool experience. And then getting back into the movies theater, sitting down, getting ready for the second half, and just getting right back into it, and into the hardcore, crazy, bloody, violent, ultra violent type of movie that we know when you what you know you get when you get a Quentin Tarantino movie. So that was just really cool to just be a part of. And yeah, just all the actors in this, actors and actress in this were just fantastic. It was just, like I said, this movie relies so much on dialogue and their characters, and this movie is called The Hateful Eight, and you do hate every last one of these characters that you meet. But at the same time, you understand where they're coming from, and they have this like very lovable, likable type of personality to them, even though you're supposed to hate their guts. And that's one thing Quentin does such a good job with his characters, all the way going back to like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown. Like, you meet certain characters that you're supposed to hate and just, you know, can't stand, but at the same time you do understand them, and they have this very lovable quality to them. And that's the same way with The Hateful Eight. And I found myself doing that and seeing that a lot in this movie, because you have so many characters and they're so confined to this movie. It was really cool to see. And since this movie is shot in like 7mm format and stuff, you get to see just everything. And this movie is such a confined space, because it only takes place in like 2 locations, like just like the cabin where everybody's in, and like the horse carriage when they're trying to get there. But it's shot in such a cool format is that you see everything, and you know, you can be watching like the main 2 people in the front screen, but on the side you see 3 other characters doing a totally different thing and doing their own thing. And that's such a cool thing to do, because you can be just listening to the people who are in focus, and kind of the people who are like in the background who you can barely see, they're probably up to no good and doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And that's where that whole clue thing comes into, like when you got to kind of look around this entire cabin and not just focus on what they want you to focus on, but kind of focus on the people that that they're trying not to make you focus on. You got to kind of focus on every aspect of that cabin, because something's happening at any point in time. Something can go down, and that's what I really enjoyed about this movie. Yeah, probably one of the coolest things about this movie is just a monologue that Samuel L. Jackson has that I don't want to spoil for you, but it's a monologue that he could get nominated for an Oscar or Academy Award just from that monologue alone, because it was just such a good, deep, funny, and very specific dialogue or monologue that I can't wait for people who haven't seen it to actually see this dialogue and this monologue. I'm sorry, because you're gonna know what I'm talking about. Like, oh yeah, he could get nominated for Oscar for that monologue. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It was just a great experience. If you do, please take the time and go watch it in the roadshow version, the 3-hour version, because I think you'll enjoy it. Like I said, it is 3 hours, but it goes by really, really fast, especially with the overture and the intermission. And then once you get to the intermission, people start to get up and you get those neighbors talking to you. It gets you more hyped for the second half of this movie, because the second half of this movie is just violence, just what we know Quentin can do. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. So please, guys, like this video, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought, and if you liked it, what was your favorite part of this movie? This is The Search Show 24/7. Be easy.